Hello everyone, welcome back to the workshop. So today I'm going to do just a real quick video taking and forging a small cattail sculpture. Now I'm not doing this for any particular reason other than for the ornamental factor and the fun. I plan on listing it on my website for sale. And yeah, I essentially just want to do something with accompaniment of the video that I made a little while ago about a cattail leaves or angle iron leaves, just a different way of making leaves or blades of grass and things. And so I just figured I'd show you a project that you can put them into, and yeah, it'll go well. So the things I'm not going to do today is project's going to have a decorative base that's flame cut. I will put a link to that video in the description and at the end of this video if you want to see how the base was made. And then I'm also not going to re-go over the actual leaf part. Once again, I'll put a link in the description to that video and also at the end of this video. You can go check out those if you want to learn how to make the leaf in that portion. So what I'm going to focus on today is forging the stem / cattail actual portion, and then I'm going to be actually drilling out the base and doing the assembly work of this and a little bit of the finish work. So to save time, since this is going to be a quick video, since my supper's almost done, I'm trying to take and get a real quick video out here to you all. I am going to use my power hammer. This is something that I normally don't do because I know a lot of my viewers do not have power hammers. I'm just going to go ahead and use my shop power hammer for this one, just to do all the drawing down. Now you can do this certainly with a hand hammer, and I have done it before for a lot of years. The starting material is 5/8 inch round bar, and so that's really the only consideration there. If you're going to draw it down by hand, make sure you have it hot, and I'm talking like the fiery face of God hot. Do not work on that thick of material cold. It's just going to wreck your body. Don't do it. Get it good and hot and hit it hard, as the saying goes. So, next clip, I will go ahead and I will be at the power hammer itself. And I won't be speaking during that clip. And I'll mute the volume a little bit, just so this way you guys can see it. It's essentially just drawing out the material. So, I hope you guys enjoy watching. Okay everyone, so the first step in this process is we need to isolate about 1 inch of this material on the front end of this 5/8 bar stock. Just like you draw down a tang. Now, once again, if you're doing this at the anvil with just a hammer, you would want to be at the horn first and then dress up your shoulders on the actual anvil face itself, and just take your time. The next part here is we're going to go in approximately about 4 inches or so, and then we're going to set down our second set down. The rest of this is basically just going to be drawn out into a stem, and we're wanting to have about 3/8 square up here near the cattail blossom portion, and then we're just going to draw that back, and I think I ended up with about 1/2 inch round or so. Now, something to point out here is do not attempt to try to get things perfectly smooth, because that actually kind of ruins the effect or the natural look of it. You kind of want it to have some roughness to it. That is okay, but it needs to be planned roughness. Don't get sloppy in your work, but allow it to kind of flow a little more naturally. This is the key to really good organic blacksmithing when you're doing ornamental work, that you're having organic elements. And it's something that a lot of guys get wrong, especially if you have the type of mechanical mindset or a type A personality where you're really, you're really acute to changes like that. You like to have everything perfectly straight or square or round, and that just doesn't really work with organic work. Okay, everyone, let me catch you up to date here. So, I have my base prepped and ready. Flame cut base. Like I said, I'm not going over that right now in this video. I've already done the video on making a flame cut base, and I'll put a link in the description for that. So as you can see, pretty flame cut base. Got it all wire wheeled up and a hole drilled through it. Now, the hole here just needs to be big enough that when you add your leaves, which I also did in another video, that the hole will be just to the right size of those leaves. You don't want the leaves to be too short and leave a big gap. So only drill the hole, take a measurement first of what the total outside diameter is here, and then shrink it a little bit to the inside diameter. Because what you want it to do is when you drill this hole out, you want to be able to weld it from the underside. So this way on the top there won't be a weld bead showing. Oh, that'll go in there like so. And then I'm not going to do it like this. Now you could, this looks like a very nice minimalist way of doing it, but we're not going to do that. So we've got our cattail forged here, completely forged out of one piece. You can clean these transitions up as much as you like, but I'm wanting to leave a little bit of that forging there. What I'm going to do instead is I've got two other leaves made. I'm going to come off one side like this, if you will. I'll try to get this in the shot. I'm going to come off one side like that and one side off the other side. I figured that gave the sculpture just a little bit more volume, and that's what I'm wanting. So all this will get welded up in the next video here. I'm just going to do a time lapse of me welding. But all this is going to get welded up kind of like you see it here in stages. So this is going to be a weld joint blended into this angle iron. And then there's going to be a small weld in here just to weld it to this nub. And then that nub is going to help us locate inside the hole here. So this way we can fill that in with weld. And then that should hold the whole piece together. And that should have a nice smooth transition after we sand and grind on it. So that's how that joint's going to work up. So I will be right back with you guys after these next couple time lapses. And we'll get it done. We'll be on to finishing. Okay. So all you're seeing me do here is essentially getting everything set up, obviously for welding. We want to take and build up the weld so this way we can round out this joint at the bottom to give it more of a natural look. You don't want to weld this up real square-like, as it will detract from the piece. I'm going to try to do a better job in the future, guys, about getting a lot closer and things, but right now, with my very expensive cell phone camera, I don't feel like getting that close to the actual work being done and have a piece of welding sputter stick to the lens or something. But we'll see what we can do in the future. I'm hoping to keep producing better and better quality content for you all. So after you get it welded up, just grind or clean. Okie dokie, folks. So now we got those pieces welded together. Sure they're not hot to the touch. And you can see how that's going to come together. Now, looks very attractive in my opinion. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to get this prepped up and ready to weld. So, essentially you want this to have a little bit of this stem, like I said, sticking down through the hole. So this way you have enough to plug weld and hold this piece in there and hold the whole piece together. These here have got to be welded to the stem itself. Now, the way I'm going to do this, or attempt to do this, is I'm going to try to get this part here clamped up. So if I can get this part here clamped up, I'm going to take and stick this thing out about, I don't know, 1/2 inch or so, because this is about 1/2 inch round, and it's closer to 3/8 up here. But I'm going to go ahead and get that welded in the corners and get it all tack welded up. Now, something to point out here is this does not have to be like Mongo welded here. You know, this is not a structural joint. This piece is not meant to see hard labor or service. So keep your welding to a minimum. That way you don't see it in your final piece. Now, before we actually do the through weld on the base itself, we are going to clean up any weld joint that we have around this bit here. And then we're also going to try to take and go ahead and wire wheel this and color it. You know, I'm going to take a scaling heat on this end, just so this way I can get it all up to one nice even oxidization color. Then you don't see any of my grind lines anymore and things of that nature. And then, after all that's said and done, you know, I won't make you all watch it, have to go through the scaling heat and everything else like that. It's essentially just bringing it up to a nice bright yellow heat, letting it really build some scale, brushing it all off, and your welds disappear. I've done a video on this in the past. I'll try to put a link to that video in the description. So that's what I'm going to be doing off camera. I'm going to go ahead and weld this up on camera, doing just another little time lapse here, and then go ahead and get this joint cleaned up, and then I'll be right back with you when we go through the base, because I have a few little talking points about how to take and do this base when I come back. So thank you all for watching, and we'll get right back with you. Okay, everyone. So now we're on to the critical part. We really want to make sure that we get a really nice joint here. So it is really worth taking the extra time to make sure everything is lined up. It is a lot harder after you have things welded up to fix any mistakes. So definitely make sure you take your time and do a good job here. Fun fact, while I was welding here, I had my hearing aids out, or my earplugs, and I actually got a bit of welding sputter right in my ear. You couldn't see it in the time lapse, but I about lost my Christianity on that one, guys. I'm not gonna lie. That one hurt. So wear your hearing protection or something to cover your ears when welding, especially if your head's turned to the side. Anyways, on over to the forge fire. We just got it nice and scaly. That way we could hide all the welds that we blend. And you can tell that's looking pretty good there. Now on to the tough part. Making sure that base is square is very difficult to get in there just right. But if you get it in just right, everything will work fine. And then here's the last part. So at this point, it got pretty late on me in the day. As you tell, I didn't get this all done by lunch. I'm going to be completely candid with you on that one. In fact, it took up till the next day. This is about 9:30 at night here. I ran into some other things and some other jobs I had to get completed. But I'm essentially just brass brushing the highs on this at this point. I'll try to put a link in the description of where you can get a brass brush like mine. A little cooling to lock in the colors, and we're good to go. Okay, everyone, here's the final result. This is 7 a.m. the next morning. I got it all painted up, welded up, and looking good. So we're just outside the shop here. I just wanted to show you some of these details real quick. See if I can get this thing to focus just right. There we go. So you can see how the branches come in nice and even. See how there's not much of a joint showing. That's what we were wanting. And yeah, so that's how you apply cattail leaves. Now, obviously cattail leaves grow up long blades and things like that. This is meant to be representative of cattail. It's not meant to actually be a cattail. So, you know, a lot of my work in ironwork is that way. It's meant to be a representation of something, not a literal translation of something, and that's okay. But, yeah. Now you guys can see how that all goes together. I hope you all enjoyed this video. I know it was a long one, but it was a fun one. Thank you all for watching. God bless you all, and we'll catch you on the next one.